today's session of Divorce Court. When Vanessa Carr said "I do" to Myron, she expected him to be by her side, not in jail.
Everybody get in trouble sometime. I couldn't help that.
But there's a difference in troubles and going back and forth to jail. Jail means you're committing crimes.
I mean, she didn't come see me not once.
I told him if he go back to jail, don't look for me to be there for you.
Well, she's supposed to be a wife and be there for her husband.
Part of the vows didn't say, and I promise to go back and forth to jail and to be with you every time I get out.
Today, Vanessa Carr seeks her freedom as she faces Myron Carr one last time in divorce court.
All rise. Court is now in session. Maybelline Ephraim presiding. You may be seated.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is the matter of Vanessa Carr versus Myron Carr. And Mr. Carr, I'm advised that after 7 years of marriage, 3 years you've been separated, you're now ready to end it.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, what took you so long?
I got in some trouble and I was incarcerated. And she promised to be there for me when I come home.
And what happened?
What happened was when I came home, she had left me. She was with another man. I didn't know where she was, Your Honor, and all of my clothes and everything that I bought. I was a sole provider for the family before I was incarcerated, and now she's saying that I don't take care of my daughter, and that's not true. The marriage is over.
Because when you came home, she had moved on with someone else.
Yes, ma'am. I mean, she didn't come see me not once at all, period.
That's a lie.
And so now you don't want to be with her?
No, she didn't want to be with me. That took a lot out of me, That really hurt.
You got released from jail expecting to come home to a wife and a daughter. Instead, you came home to an empty house?
They were gone.
And everything that was in the house was gone?
Was gone.
And you had no idea she had moved?
No, that's not so, Your Honor.
Well, she never once came to see me at all, period. I mean, she wrote me once, and that was a Dear John letter.
So why'd you promise him that you were going to be there?
Because I was going to be there, but with him keep going back in jail.
All right, it's not true. Be quiet, I heard you.
All right.
With him keep going back to jail, that's not something that I wanted for my kids, to be with a father back in jail. So I didn't feel like I had to wait on him.
How many children do you have?
I have 2.
So you didn't feel like you had to wait on him, that you could move on to another man?
Yeah, because he promised me that he wasn't going to be in and out of jail. And he had made that promise and he went back to jail. So I told him if he go back to jail, don't look for me to be there for you.
Well, you didn't think that you should divorce him before you moved on to another man?
Well, I didn't move. Me and the man wasn't going together. I wasn't living with nobody when he got out of jail. I had been seeing someone, but we wasn't together.
So you were just dating someone else?
Yes.
But again, do you think you didn't need to get a divorce before you start dating someone else? Or is it only when you live with them and you're married that you're supposed to get a divorce?
No.
I thought you weren't supposed to see anybody else when you were married.
That's correct, but with him going back and forth to jail, it's not for me to just put my life on hold.
So what did you expect her to do?
Well, she's supposed to be a wife.
And do what?
And be there for her husband.
And what does that mean?
That means do what a wife's supposed to do.
Well, all wives do different things. What you think she's supposed to do?
Be loyal, be respectable, and don't go out and be sleeping around with other men. If that's the case, I mean, and by all means necessary, be behind her man,
So
and just like you just said, if she wasn't gonna do that, she should have divorced me.
Well,
so
you
what do
was
you think
sleeping with other
hold on
women.
a second, Mrs. Carr. What do you think you owed her as a husband?
Well, I admit that, that I left her, but I mean, I didn't leave her as far as to go be with another woman.
But I'm saying that you left her for the jailhouse. What's the difference? What did you owe her?
But still, everybody get in trouble sometime. I couldn't help that. That's something that I couldn't help.
Everybody get in trouble sometime?
No, everybody, in some time in your life, you will go through trouble.
I've never been to jail.
Well, you might not have been incarcerated, Your Honor, but you have had troubles in your life. I'm pretty sure you have.
Well, there's a
You're
difference
human.
in troubles and going back and forth to jail. Jail means you're committing crimes.
Ma'am, it was just this 15 months, all right?
That's the only time that you went.
And 2 other times before then.
Oh, now it is 2 other times.
Yeah, it was 2 other times before then. And if I keep on talking,
you may remember the 4 other times.
It was just 2 other times before then, Your Honor.
But that's what I'm saying. What did you owe her? Did you not owe her to be out of jail, constantly working and consistent love?
Yes, I owed that. I did owe her that.
So then you broke your vow too, didn't you?
Well, you could say that, if you want to put it like that.
I mean, part of the vows didn't say, and I promise to go back and forth to jail and to be with you every time I get out.
Well,
I don't
Your
remember
Honor,
him writing that one in.
Well, Your Honor, you're right. But I mean, that don't give her the right to go and do what she did, you know? I mean...
What do you, so you expect her to just do...
not take care of Kiara either.
Your Honor...
So what do you mean when you say he's not taking care of your child?
He's not. He don't do nothing for her, and he have...
like what?
Anything.
He doesn't provide any support?
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't buy her anything?
He just started coming to get my baby about a month ago.
You mean your baby?
Well, our baby.
That's not true,
He just
Your Honor.
started coming to get
That's
her
not
about
true.
a month
Hold on,
ago.
Mr. Carr.
But he
That's
don't
not
do
true.
nothing for her. We had made an agreement before when he first got out of prison for him to only pay $50 a week. He never paid me $50 a week. It was always the excuse that something came up or something went wrong, but that's not my problem what went wrong.
But in the meanwhile, you and your baby suffering, and he's not giving $50 per week.
Correct.
And all he has is a bunch of excuses.
Correct.
So did you
That's
ever
not
go
true,
and get
Your
an
Honor.
order for support? Or you just took his word for it?
Because I take care of her.
No,
I'm
we
getting-
had an agreement, and he never did do it, so I went to the child support office.
Well, if you had that agreement that he would pay you $50 a week, and he didn't do that, now you're telling me that he agreed to you, that he'd never go back and forth to jail. Why did you think he was going to keep that agreement?
Because he told me that he had changed and that he was going to try to be a father to pay me
Always been a
$50 a
father.
week to
Always been a
for
father.
Kiara,
Yeah,
Yeah, ever
but
since
he
you put the
never did.
sperm there, you've been a father. You're right
But
about
no,
that.
I've been a
but
father, Your Honor.
Doesn't mean that you've been a supportive
Before I was
father.
incarcerated, Your Honor, I was a sole provider of everything. I took care of everything. So she can't stand there
But
and
she's
say
not
that.
saying before you were incarcerated.
And even though after, Your Honor, listen, when I got out of jail, right, I had the clothes on my back, right? I had to move to another location, another town. I had to change my life. I can't help my child if I can't help myself. I had to help myself first.
So moving to
Well, what
another
happened?
location, hold on,
Yes,
Mrs.
ma'am.
Carr.
I had to get a job. I had to buy furniture. I had to buy clothes. I had to buy a car. You know, I had to get my life together.
So you could buy one pair of pants and a shirt and still pay support to your daughter
Well, I
if
tell
you have a job.
And
Your
he
Honor,
had a job
that's
and
not
still
true.
didn't
That's
give
not
me
true,
money
Your Honor.
for it.
That's not so true because I
What's
do
not
take care
true?
of my daughter. I do take care of my daughter.
How much do you provide every week?
Yeah, well, Your Honor, I can't say I give her every week, but when I go and get her whatever she needs, or if she needs
So
anything.
when do you go and get her?
I go and get her
If that's
often.
once every
I go and
6
get her-
months.
No, ma'am.
Well,
no,
I'm
ma'am,
asking
that's
you,
not true.
how
I go
often
and
do you
get
go
her
and get her?
maybe every other week, or maybe, twice a month or something like that.
Try giving me an answer instead of maybes. Because why you got a maybe? Maybe it's
Or
guessing.
twice a week. I meant twice a month, or maybe every other week. I mean, every other week or twice a month.
Which is it?
Your Honor, maybe just
If
say
you tell it,
just say
I don't
twice.
want a maybe. Which
okay,
is
I'm
it?
sorry, Your Honor. Twice a month.
It could maybe none.
Twice
You
a month. I go and get her.
2 times a month?
Yes, ma'am.
And when you get her that 2 times a month, what do you buy her?
Whatever she needs.
What does she
If she
need?
needs shoes, or if she need a shirt, she need a permanent hair. I mean, if I do as I see.
When divorce court returns, the judge questions Myron about not taking care of his family.
Well, Your Honor, I didn't lose my job. I resigned from my job.
Resign.
Yes, ma'am.
What gives you the privilege to resign?
If you would like to have the judge hear your case in divorce court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or email us at www.divorcecourttv.com. Divorce Court is back in the case of Vanessa Carr, who's divorcing her husband Myron because he spent more time in jail than with her.
Do you believe that your daughter only needs something twice a month when she's with you?
No, ma'am. I give her love. She goes a lot of places with me. I spend time with her, quality time.
What'd you say about that, Mr. Carr?
He's lying.
Well, other than he's lying, that doesn't tell me much. Can you get a complete sentence out other than that?
Yes, he haven't did anything. He just started coming to get my baby about a month ago.
You told me that, so it's not twice a month.
No, he haven't did nothing for her. None of her school
that's not
clothes.
true.
He haven't bought none of her school clothes. Me and my mother and my father had to get all her school clothes and everything that she needed.
And you're saying ever since he's been out of jail, which has been about, what, 3 or 4 years?
Yes, my mother and my daddy helps me with my baby.
And
I
that's
help her-
the
and I
pattern
help
that
my
he
baby
has.
too.
So he's not getting her twice a month.
No, he just started getting her about a month ago.
And how
That's
often does
not
he get her
true
now?
When he
Every
comes in
time
town.
I live 4.5 hours away.
So when he comes to town, when I say
And
how
that's
often, give
probably
me a time frame.
once a month or twice a month.
And when he gets there, what does he do for her?
Nothing. Just take her with her and bring her back.
That's not true, Your Honor.
Well, I gave you an opportunity to tell me how
but
often
I'm
you
just
buy
saying,
for her.
okay, Your Honor, I'm just going.
Now
I'm
you're
let
gonna
her-
change it.
But I buy for her.
But I ask you, you said
I told you twice a month.
What
What
have you
she
bought for
needs.
her?
So she comes to you and her shoes not run over, you don't buy them because you don't think she needs them.
Well, sometimes I buy them
He
anyway.
ain't bought no shoes
But that was
in
not
2 or
your
3
answer,
years.
Mr. Carr. I ask you, what do? I get her what she needs when I look at her. So if her shoes are nice and clean and not run over and got a good
Your
heel
Honor,
on them,
I'm sorry,
you don't buy
mistaken me,
any.
but I buy her because even if the shoes, I still buy her. I'm sorry for you misunderstanding.
No, I don't misunderstand. I hear very well for you miscommunicating. You didn't
I'm
tell me
sorry,
what you
ma'am.
meant.
Well, that's what I meant.
You ought to
I
say
buy
what
her.
you mean what you say, and then when you say it, stick to it.
Yes, ma'am.
Sound like you're telling the story.
No, ma'am, I'm not telling a story.
But you keep changing. Now, if I stand here another 20 minutes, you're going to tell me you get her every week and you buy her something
No,
all
ma'am.
the time.
I wouldn't tell you that.
When was the last time you bought her a piece of clothing?
Oh, about 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago.
Yeah, she was with me 3 weeks ago.
And where the clothes at? They ain't at my house. She ain't bring them to my house.
Well, you know, he kept them there for those 2 times a month she comes to see him. So she can have some clothes.
Your Honor, my daughter have clothes in my mother's house.
That your mother brought.
And how
His mother do more for my baby than he do. That is her mother.
But the question is, how often is she at your mother's
Well, when
house?
she was with me, right?
2 times a month.
She haven't been in his mother's house in
Yes, she
about
have.
5 or 6 months now.
Your Honor, she was at my mother's house 3 weeks ago with me.
Did you make a promise to give her $50 a week?
Yes, ma'am.
So now talk to me about that.
Well, Your Honor, I had I kind of I didn't lose my job. I resigned from my job.
Resigned?
Yes, ma'am.
What gives you the privilege to resign?
I kind of felt like it was time for me to go.
And go and do what? Nothing?
Yes, I got another job.
All right, so now you have another job.
Yes,
what
ma'am.
happened to the $50 per week?
Well,
I don't
at
care
the
which
time-
job it comes from.
At the time, Your Honor, you see, it just happened, all of a sudden, and I couldn't give her the $50 a week.
At
But
what
I mean,
time? 4 years ago?
No, ma'am. I've been giving her. I didn't
She
promise
said it's
her
been
that
over
4 years
3 or
ago.
4 years and you have not given her the $50
I didn't promise
a
her
week
that 4
as
years
you
ago.
promised.
I just promised her that this year.
Ask him how much money he gave me this year.
That's what I'm about to go now. You just went there too fast for me. All right, she already asked the question. This year, since you said it's this year.
Your Honor, I've been delinquent this year on the
What?
payment.
Okay, now tell me how much this year and what's your excuse?
I haven't given anything this
Not
year.
one $50 a week?
I done probably gave her, I don't know, 2 or 3 payments.
Well, you said anything.
But I'm behind on the payments, Your Honor.
But
Yeah,
I'm
never
gonna ask
gave
you
me a
again, how
payment.
many have you given her this year?
But when I give my daughter,
Oh,
right,
I'm tired of hearing the buts. Just tell me, what have you done?
I haven't gave her about 2 or 3 payments, Your Honor.
Now, what's your excuse?
I don't have an excuse. I'm not saying I don't have an excuse. Right now I was out of work the first beginning of the year. I just started working about 2 or 3 months ago on a new job.
Okay, so in 2 or 3 months, you could have given her $50
Yes,
a week for
ma'am.
the last 2 or 3 months.
That's
but you
correct.
haven't done that either. So I think what your excuse is, she has stuff. She has another parent. I'm not the only parent. She's with her mother. She's taking care of her. Sounds like that's what your excuse is. Because every time I pin you down, you start to tell me, well, if she has 2 parents, well, she lives with you, doesn't she? Most of the time?
She live with me all the time.
All right. So do they give you rent free?
No.
You have to pay for that. Do they pay your gas bill free?
No, ma'am.
You have to pay for that.
Yes, ma'am.
What about the lights bill? Maybe they give that to you free.
I pay lights and water.
And your daughter doesn't use it, though.
Yeah.
Now you see where I'm going, Mr. Carr?
Yes, ma'am.
She is providing for your daughter. You're not doing that. So the little $50 a week that she's asking you to send is in addition to. She needs more than clothes and shoes when you see her and hair ribbons on her hair.
Well, Your Honor, like I said, the first 2 years, I couldn't give her $50 a week because I had to get myself together.
It didn't take you 2 years to buy some clothes.
No, I didn't say I didn't do for my daughter.
didn't take you
I'm just
2
saying giving her the
years.
$50 a week. I couldn't give her the $50
Yeah.
a week for 2 years, but I was providing for my child.
No, you could have.
We just made this arrangement this year.
And I'm going to tell you something. You could have, but your priority wasn't there because you were concentrating on getting Mr. Carr together while you forgot about that this child is still existing for during those 2 years.
I didn't forget about it, Your Honor.
But every now and then is not good enough.
Yes,
if
ma'am.
somebody fed you every now and then, looking at you, you look pretty healthy to me. How would you feel about that? If you only ate every now and then or 2 times a month. I doubt very seriously if you would only just eat 2 times a month. Am I right?
You're right.
Okay. So that's what you sounding like for your daughter. While you trying to get yourself together, she's supposed to go without eating and food and clothes and shelter for 2 years.
When divorce court returns, the judge renders her verdict. And an update on the case of Kim Woody versus Michael Woody.
He started sending him over to the house to check up on me.
Sending people to check on you?
Yes.
And while he started checking on you, you started checking him out?
It may have been a bad judgment on my part.
May have been?
Divorce Court will be back in session in a moment. Divorce Court is back in the case of Vanessa Carr, who says she's tired of her husband Myron's frequent trips to jail.
Right now, I could give her $50 a week.
All right, so let's make up for it.
Yes,
By
ma'am.
now, we need to advance it. She's a little older. Probably need to take it up to $75 a week.
$75.
Because you've had
I got
2
other
years to get
kids,
yourself together.
Your Honor, I got other kids too now.
How many other kids do you have?
I got 2 boys. I got a boy that's 13. I got a boy that's 11.
And how much are you paying for them?
$50 a week. I mean, $50 a piece a week for them too.
For the 2 of them?
Yes, ma'am. So that would be $150 a week for all my kids.
I don't believe it. That you're giving them $50 a week regularly.
I do.
It just sounds good.
No, I do, Your Honor.
Where's
they
the
take
proof?
it out of my check. I mean, but when I'm...
Oh, that one's coming out of your check?
Yes, ma'am. That's coming out of my check.
Is that right?
I don't know.
You don't have any idea?
No.
Do you know about these other 2
I know
children?
he's on child support, but I don't know.
Do
if
you
he
know
paying
that he
child
has 2 other children, or is that
I know
something
he has
new?
2 other
Oh,
kids,
all right.
but I don't know if he paying it correctly like he's
Well, then let's just add her $50 a week to come out of your check as well. And then we'll know that she's going to get the $50 per week. How about that?
That's fine.
That's fine?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. What about, is that all right with you, Miss
Yeah,
Carr?
I want back pay from the time that he didn't.
You want back pay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, you asking for an awful lot. You want
Uh-uh.
back pay for all the other times?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, maybe I can order him to go back from this year since he didn't keep his agreement, and it was a promise and a contract.
What
about this year?
Well, Your Honor, what I'm trying to tell you is...
What I'm
Your
trying to
Honor.
tell you is that you said you had an agreement, you
Yes,
promised to
ma'am.
do it, and you didn't
Yes,
keep your
ma'am,
promise.
But I wasn't working at the time, Your Honor.
But
can't
you know
get
what?
blood
If
from
you
a
had,
turnip, Your Honor.
if you had
I mean, what
promised,
can-
if
what
you
can I
had
do?
promised to pay a department store $50 a week, and you weren't working, and you didn't pay the department store the $50 a week during the period that you weren't working, you know that department store would still make you pay them once you start to work again. And I don't think that this child should be in any different position. Close your mouth. I don't think this child should be in any different position, and that a department store should have a greater advantage over a child. So my order is, it was a contract, it was an agreement, you made a promise. At the time you made the promise, you were working, and when you lost your job and you got a second job, you said you resigned, you didn't even get fired. You just resigned means you made a choice to quit. So you put yourself in that position.
Well, it was for my best interest.
Well, good. And it didn't benefit the child. $600 for this year, just your 1-year contract. $600 you owe her. Plus,
years
from now
now,
on,
Okay, go ahead, Your Honor. I'm
well, let's say 10 months then. $50 a week for 10 months.
sorry. $500.
40 weeks. No, you don't add too well. 40 weeks times $50 a week is $2,000. And then you're going to continue to pay her the $50 per week starting next week, every Friday. Court's adjourned.
All rise.
When Divorce Court returns, an update on the case of Kim Woody versus Michael Woody.
It got so bad, I was so insecure about my marriage that I quit my job.
Closed captioning for Divorce Court provided by. If you would like to have the judge hear your case in Divorce Court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or email us at www.divorcecourttv.com. And now for an update on a previous case in Divorce Court. Kim Woody said her husband Michael couldn't deal with her being a stripper and would send his friends to spy on her.
It got so bad, I was so insecure about my marriage that I quit my job.
But Michael said that was no reason for her to sleep with his best friend.
He started sending him over to the house to check up on me.
Sending people to check on you?
Yes.
And while he started checking on you, you started checking him out.
It may have been a bad judgment on my part.
May have been? Did you learn a lesson from sending over your best friend to check on your wife?
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
Michael told the judge he shouldn't be responsible for the credit card bills which Kim wanted him to pay, because he told Kim he didn't believe in using credit cards. The judge ordered them to each pay $482 of the remaining balance. Michael says that Kim has agreed for their 2 youngest children to take a paternity test to see if he is indeed their biological father. But Michael says, regardless of the test results, he will continue to be a father to the children. Michael and Kim say they plan on remaining friends for the children's sake.
I think the verdict was fair.
I think the judge's decision was solely for Vanessa today, and I think it was just not my day today.
I didn't feel like I was breaking my vows because I shouldn't be expected to wait it if he chooses to keep getting back in trouble.
Well, I think she's just trying to get money, that's all. I'm moving on.